There are stories that begin with a scream and others that begin with a whisper. This one begins with a walk, measured, unhurried, and always just ahead of you on a moonlit road. The monster in this story is the most elegant woman on the road. I'm James, this is Mythic Tides. In the folklore of the Caribbean, danger does not always bare its teeth. Sometimes it's polite, well-dressed, perfectly at ease. Her name is La Diablesse. She does not chase, she does not threaten, she walks and waits to see who will follow. Her story is told across Trinidad, Martinique, Grenada, Dominica and neighbouring islands, places shaped by plantation roads, steep hills, deep forests and long heat-heavy days. Her name is French, La Diablesse. It's not symbolic, it means the devil woman. In many tellings, she is exactly that, the devil walking in female form, translated into plantation life. In some tellings, she appears at noon, the meridian hour, when the sun stands still and the world holds its breath. More often, she is met at dusk or beneath a full moon, when the day loosens its grip and judgment walks more freely. This figure was shaped where Catholic belief, African spiritual traditions and colonial rule collided. The European devil lost his horns and fire and took on manners, perfume and patience. She's not simply a monster, she's a test. She appears when restraint slips, when a man believes the road belongs to him, when desire feels justified, when daylight has done its work and judgment is deferred until later. First glance, nothing looks particularly out of place. A beautiful woman, tall, barefoot, dressed in long layered skirts, a white scarf about her shoulders, a veil or turban pulled low. Often a wide-brimmed hat, grand and elegant, shadows her face completely, veiling eyes that, if caught in the wrong light, smoulder like coals in a dying fire. She does not seek attention, but attention gathers around her all the same. Men stop, they watch, they call to one another. She walks on, unhurried, as if the world has not noticed. She is calm, courteous, unafraid. She smells faintly of perfume, lilies or something sweet and expensive. But walk beside her long enough, and another scent comes through. Sickly sweet, heavy, like flowers left too long in the sun, like sweetness trying and failing to hide rot. For all her elegance, something is wrong. Beneath her skirts, La Diablesse has one human foot and one cloven hoof, often said to belong to a cow or a goat. Some elders insist the hoof is always the left one, the sinister side, marked from the beginning. She walks carefully, keeping the human foot on the hard-packed road, while hoof stays hidden in the tall grass at the verge. The road carries both sounds, one light, one hard, heel and hoof. It is the sound that betrays her long before the eye does. Dogs know her at once. They whine, they cower, or bay into the heat-hushed air at something their masters cannot see. She looks exactly like she should. That's the point. Men walk beside her, they speak with her, some even touch her arm. And then they see her properly. The veil lifts, the light shifts, and where a woman's face should be, there's the face of a corpse, or a skull, or nothing at all. A man walked home late along a plantation road. The night was warm, the moon bright enough that he carried no lamp. Ahead of him, a woman walked alone. She was dressed too well for the hour, but she moved as if she belonged there. They exchanged a few words. Her voice was gentle, her manners perfect. When she continued on, he followed. At first, nothing seemed wrong, but after a while, he noticed her steps. One footfall soft, the other dull and heavy. He told himself it was nothing. Then the air thickened with that clawing sweetness. The forest pressed in close. and when he finally looked down, he saw the hoof beneath her dress. He ran. Behind him, the footsteps did not hurry. Dawn saved him, nothing else. It was noon when Fafa left the cane fields, a still, merciless noon, the kind where the air seems to hold its breath. The road shimmered under the sun, and the hills smoked blue in the distance. That was when he saw her. Ahead of him, on the mountain road, a woman walking alone. She was tall, barefoot, dressed in dark cloth, with a white scarf about her shoulders and white turban bound low upon her head. She walked swiftly and without sound. Fafa sensed her before he heard her. In fact, he never heard her at all. When she passed him, she greeted him politely, as though such meetings on empty roads were the most natural thing in the world. And when she walked on, he followed. At first, he thought nothing of it. People walked fast in the hills. But after a while, something began to trouble him. His breath shortened, sweat darkened his clothes, his legs burned with the effort of keeping pace. She did not slow, she did not tire, her breathing never changed. When she did ease her pace, it was only to let him draw closer. Somewhere along the climb, the light began to thin. Fafa didn't notice that the day began to loosen its grip, only that the road seemed longer than it should have been. She sang as she walked, not loudly, not merrily, but in a low, strange voice, rising and falling, like something older than language. Behind him, far down the road, his friend Gabu had stopped working. From time to time he called out, his voice cupped in his hands, small against the hills. Fafa did not turn. The road climbed, the forest pressed even closer. The air grew heavy, sweet with flowers and decay. Fireflies began to appear, sparkling into the dark like drifting embers, as if the forest itself were remembering old fires. And all the while, gently, caressingly, imperceptibly, she drew him a little nearer to the side of the path, nearer to the black waving of the ferns, nearer to the great, dull, rushing sound that rose from beyond them. "Do you love me?" she asked. "Yes," he answered. "Yes, you know I do." She asked again and again, and then, turning at once to him and to the last red light of the sky, the glamour broke. Her face became a goblin horror, and she burst into hideous laughter. Not joy, not madness, but the laughter of something that knows the test has ended. For a fraction of a moment, Fafa knew her name. Then, smitten to the brain by the sight of her, he reeled, recoiled, and fell backwards, 2,000 feet to his death upon the rocks of the mountain torrent. Gabu crossed himself and fled. He'd seen the sign by which she is known. La Diablesse does not take anyone. She's a punisher of womanizers, men who wander for pleasure, men who betray wives, families, and promises made in daylight. She does not drag them away, they follow. She's not alone. Across the islands, other figures walk the margins of belief. The Sukuyan, the Laguhu, the Duen, each has its own rules, each its own hour. La Diablesse belongs to the road, and to the moment when someone decides to follow. There are a few ways said to break her spell. One of the strangest is to turn your clothes inside out, a common defence in Caribbean folklore. Not to fight the devil, but to confuse her. Sometimes that is enough. Others speak of crossing running water, for she cannot pursue where streams rush clean and free. Or carrying iron, a nail in the pocket, a horseshoe charm, old protections against an old evil. La Diablesse endures because her lesson is simple. Danger does not always look dangerous. Beauty can be worn. And some roads never lead back. She walks openly, patiently, waiting for someone to decide to follow. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe. And if you've got something to say about La Diablesse, leave a comment. I'm James, this is Mythic Tides. I hope to see you again soon.